So, folks, I'm going to have Jack Sawyer in the very back of the room for about 5 or 6 minutes, and then I'll have Coach up here momentarily. All right, folks, thanks for being here. Thanks for covering the game. We're going to open up with questions over here to the right. Spencer Holbrook, Lettermen Row, right behind you, Spencer.
Ryan, when you have a half like you guys did in the first half, is it calm in the locker room? Is there a sense of just go out and get the thing done, or what did you see in the locker room from these guys that made you think that they were going to do what they did in the second half?
It's a good question. I think it's a mixture of feelings. It's almost 200 yards offense. On defense, we had held them to under 90 yards, but 2 turnovers, didn't convert on the fourth down. I thought we worked hard trying to score there, and then the last 4 minutes of the first half didn't do that, had the turnover. So there was, on defense, there was an energy. But also even on offense, it's like if we just take care of the football, we can turn this thing and get going, because the score was probably a little bit different if we take care of the ball coming out of halftime. Then, we really wanted to come out and have a great drive, to start the third quarter, and then we start getting the short fields on the turnovers, and the game just flipped there, and I think it ended up being 28 straight points, and so that was good to see. Not that you like to see those kind of things, but it is good to face a little bit of adversity and see how our team responds. And so all things we can learn from.
Over to the left, Cameron Teague Robinson, The Athletic.
Ryan, it seemed like you guys could run when you wanted to in this game. Deep at the line, kind of controlled Caleb Johnson. For both sides of the ball, how important for this program going forward was it for you to see that you could dictate things up front on off the line and deep at the line?
Well, that was the challenge coming in, was we say 60 minutes of inside drill and figure out where we are running the ball and stopping the run. So we have a reference point moving forward. I think this can give us a lot of confidence moving forward. There was a big challenge to our entire team about physicality and toughness. I thought we answered that. We'll watch the film and get it figured out. But there's a team right there that feels like they got challenged and they answered that. But as you can imagine, it didn't take too long for us to set our focus on Oregon. And so our focus is when we leave the locker room today that we're already starting on Oregon. But all that being said, we will watch the film tomorrow. We'll learn from it. We'll call out the champions, identify those, and make sure that we recognize the hard work that was done to go win this game, because we have a lot of respect for Iowa, Coach Ferentz, and the way they do things. It's a veteran team that's played a lot of football, and it's not easy to rush for 200 yards against that defense. But also, some of the throws in the red zone I thought were pretty well done today, because those are the types of throws you have to make against a really good defense.
Over to the right, Dylan Davis, Delaware Gazette.
Ryan, we know how good Tyleik Williams is, but just how big of a difference does he make to what you're able to do inside, especially in a game like this where they're going to try to run right at you?
Well, there's a confidence, because he's a very good player, but he also is a very good communicator, and so he's constantly talking to guys in there, and I think it's good to get everybody on the same page, but great to see Ty Hamilton get that sack fumble, and then Jack, and I thought our guys were flying around today. Good to get IGB a pick like that. I mean, those are all huge plays in the game, which helped flip. So overall, I felt like I don't know if I mentioned this on Tuesday, but when you come into games, I think especially for guys like Jack and JT, there's this, well, how many sacks are you going to get? Well, if they're running the ball every play, it's hard to get sacks. And so what do? You stop the run and then force them, go up by a couple scores. We wish we had done that a little bit sooner, force them to throw the ball, and then here come the sacks, because now there's opportunity. And I think they did that and saw some big plays happen.
Okay, folks, I'm going to ask Emeka Abuka to go to that table to the right there. If we could clean off the table so he's got some room. Okay, and then we'll go over to the left, Rob Aller, Columbus Dispatch.
Hey, Ryan, as a coach with an offensive background like yourself, do you appreciate more what your defense can do and is doing with the takeaways, with holding the number one, number two back in the nation to what the yardage he had?
Yeah, there's no question. Yeah. And it gives you confidence to go for it on a fourth down early in the game like that, because you feel like your defense is strong. And that's a big part of it. And yeah, to get the turnovers on a short field like that is just, you're constantly playing downhill when that happens. So yeah, I mean, those are huge in a game. And I guess, the turnovers ended up 3-2 or maybe with the downs 3-3, but those are all really big plays in the game. So, anytime we can do that, it's a game changer.
Over to the right, Austin Ward, the podcast.
Ryan, I know you don't pay too much attention to the stuff that's said outside the program, but it feels like maybe Emeka doesn't get the acclaim that he deserves, or at least that you guys feel for him in the locker room. I don't know if you can assess that or not, but what is his value to this offense?
Yeah, I think Emeka is one of the best receivers in the country, and it hurt him last year to have the high ankle sprain, but when you think about where he was, the year before and now what he's doing now, you see a complete player. He's the captain of our team. He's a warrior. He does all the dirty work like he did in the Michigan State game, but then to see him come back and have 3 touchdown catches and contested all 3 of those was huge. And so no, he's a leader. He's a warrior, and he's I think, again, one of the better receivers in the entire country. And
he's only getting better the more he plays.
Joey Kaufman, Columbus Dispatch.
Ryan, just two quick things. One, what is Carnell's status? Then two, as far as the turnover thing goes, like people talk about turnover luck and all that, but it seems like you guys are forcing some of those fumbles, and just wanted to kind of, has that been like a concerted effort sort of thing?
I mean, always. I think any defense would tell you that they work on, poking the ball out. I think our guys have done a good job of that, and the quarterback is usually the most vulnerable guy, and so the strip sacks are huge, and we had 2 of those today. The interception was well done, but again, when you force a team one-handed, then now you have more opportunity to get turnovers, and so that's big. In terms of Carnell was available. He could have played. Another one of these situations, we decided to hold him. If we needed to put him in the game, he absolutely could have played, but we just felt like it was the right thing to do to hold him, and hopefully we'll have 100% Carnell going into next week.
Over here to the right, Pat Forty, Sports Illustrated.
Ryan, you knew Jeremiah Smith was an elite talent coming in, but what about him made him ready to contribute and be a huge impact right away?
I think probably overall maturity. What I mean by that, like his physical maturity, he's big and strong, as you see, and so that's important. I think the next thing is his emotional maturity. This is somebody who practices hard every day. He's avoided distractions up until this point. He stays disciplined, practices really hard. I know that fumble is going to absolutely kill. It's going to bother him. And I think that's what makes him great. But he also has a lot of confidence, and we have a lot of confidence. That we go right back to him and know what he's capable of. So he's got a great, coach in Brian Hartline. He's got a great mentor in Emeka Ibuka. But he also came in with a great work ethic and a great mindset. But also, physically, he's big and strong, which allows him to get on the field sooner.
Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
This was the best defense Will Howard has faced. I'm sure he had the pick. He had some throws probably would like to have back. But then he obviously rebounded second. How would you kind of assess his performance and what you think he got out of this game?
I think he's going to get confidence coming out of this game. But I think when you have a couple things you'd like back, you learn from those. And there's also, he doesn't get rattled, and there's times where, I even try to rattle him in practice and he doesn't. I mean, he kind of looks, I got you, coach. All right. And that's a good sign for a quarterback. And I know he would like to have, that throwback and, a couple other things, but I thought, the throw to Jeremiah on the double move was excellent. And some of those throws down the red area, the one in particular to Emeka in the corner of the end zone here on the close side was a tremendous throw and catch. And he did make some nice third down throws. And even the third down throw he made on 3rd and long to get it to 4th and manageable. We probably were going to pooch there, but he got enough. Jeremiah got it to, I think, was it 4th and 2 or 4th and 3. And then he converts on the 4th down. I mean, those are huge plays. And then the red zone throws. So that's winning football. And then when you add that into, him making a few plays with his feet, that's sort of the X factor right there.
Tim May, Lettermen Row.
Thank you, Jerry. Ryan, just 2 quickies. Number one, are you more proud, this is like asking which kids you like most, but are you more proud of the way the offensive running game went today, or are you more proud of the defensive play against the rush? I mean, obviously we talked about earlier. I mean, that's 2 kids you got to love, I guess, at the same time. But
that was the challenge. Run the football, stop the run. And it starts with the guys up front. I thought the offensive line played hard. I thought Justin prepared them. I thought the plan was good with everybody on the offensive staff. I thought Chip, put a good game plan together, called a good game. I thought the running backs ran hard again. I mean, physically hard. But the defense really showed up, and it started off with a really good week of Tuesday and Wednesday. We had our second offensive line go down and give a great look. And Tuesday was okay. Wednesday was much better. And then, the guys really showed up on Saturday. So if we can keep grinding on these, Tuesday and Wednesday practices, we can keep building on this, because that's, to me, what the difference is. And, we're going to need a big week of work this week against Oregon.
You already mentioned Oregon. I mean, it's already on your mind and stuff. How big a game is this mid-season? I mean, can you put it in perspective?
They're all big, but, I think just the way the schedule's played out, the competition is ramped up each week. Yeah, just the way that it played out. And here we go. I mean, this is going to be a great opponent, and we're looking forward to going across the country and playing it.
Folks, we're going to have 3 more questions for Coach David. In the meantime, I've got Donovan Jackson at the back table. Over to the left, Bill Bender, the Sporting News.
Right here. Yeah, you already said it. Tim kind of touched on it, but the drive to open the game, drive to open the second half, kind of mirror good mix of run and pass. Was there a discussion at halftime like we want to come out and run the ball? I think it was 5 straight, and it set up that deep shot.
Yeah, I mean, we always want a good mix. And to your point, when the runs are hitting for 4 and 5 and the balls are being completed, that makes it easier. But you're right. I thought both of those drives were well orchestrated, well designed, and well executed. And I think that's when we're at our best, when you feel like, okay, you got some run, you got some pass, you're converting on third down. And that's what we're capable of, and that's what we expect.
Over to the right, Jake Trotter, ESPN.
Ryan, back to Jeremiah, those 2 catches in the third quarter, how did they help change the game?
Yeah, I that was a big point in the game, and I think it was third and 6 or 7, and we caught them in a bracket coverage and executed that double move, and you only get a couple of those in practice where you can actually get it. But the key to me, I thought the throw and the catch was excellent, but the protection on a double move has to be really strong because it takes time. And I thought I'd like to see how much time that actually took on the watch. My guess is probably longer than 3 seconds. Anytime you get that kind of protection, that's huge. And so that was a challenge for the offensive line. We knew that on that play we could get a next play if we were able to hold on, and we did. And then Will and Jeremiah did the rest. And then to come right back with the one-on-one that was a big time play. Yeah.
And final question for Coach Steve Hellwagon, 24/7 Sports.
Coach, I want to ask you about the linebackers, Sonny Styles, Cody Simon. It just feels like with each game, you're feeling Sonny Styles' presence a little bit more. He seems like he's getting comfortable and confident. And that series down on the goal line where they didn't let him off the goal line right before halftime, those guys really stood up.
Yeah, they did. And you look at Higgins for them, number 34. I think he had 171 tackles last year. How many inside zones has he seen in his life? And you think about where Eichenberg was, and you think about some of the great linebackers that are out there. They've played a lot, they've seen a lot. They're able to diagnose plays, and the more Sonny plays, the more he's able to learn and diagnose those plays faster. And Cody played strong in there. Arvell was in the mix. Safeties were strong. Lathan came up, made some plays. Caleb played well again. So they were all involved with it. But no, good to see Sonny get more and more of those reps, because every rep he gets is an investment in his future, and he'll play faster and faster the more he plays.
Great. Coach, thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
All right, if we can start to wrap up with Emeka Abuka, and then we're going to bring Will Howard up for a mini lightning round.
What's up, guys? How we doing?
All right, well, we're going to open up to the right. Stephanie Odie, 97.1 The Fan.
Coach just talked about how he thinks that you'll have more confidence after this game, and that he's even tried to rattle you at practice, but he just isn't able to shake you. Can you just speak on your gameplay in those moments?
Yeah, I mean, that's a big emphasis, and I say it every week. Obviously you don't want to have the turnovers and the bad plays, but the thing is it's going to happen. It's football, and you're not going to be perfect, and that's just the reality of being a human being. And it's all about how you bounce back. And in my long career, and one of the things that I've learned is that you can't let the play before affect the next play. And I think I've gotten a lot better at that as I've grown and gotten older and just had more reps and more experience. But he tries to emulate that at practice, and he tries to get in my head, and he tries to make practice harder than the games, and he does. And I think we do that as well. We push ourselves in practice so that it is truly harder than the games. And then you can come out here and just play free and not worry about things. And just the confidence that I have right now, especially with the guys I have around me, like stuff like that's not going to shake me, and I think I've done a good job of that thus far this season. Obviously don't want to have, the pick there and the turnovers, and that's, got to clean that up. But in the moment, what you have to do is you have to move on. And I think I did a good job of that. And I think we as a team did a good job of that.
Over to the left, Cameron Teague Robinson, The Athletic.
Will, it seemed like whenever you were going to hand the ball off to Trey or Quinshawn, you could get 4 or 5 yards at least every time they touched the ball. What kind of confidence does an offensive line that dictates pace like that give you, whether in the run game or in the pass game?
A ton, man. That was a huge emphasis coming into this game. You know, we knew we needed to be physical, play downhill football, and go at them. And I think our O-line took that challenge and ran with it, man. And those dudes are bad SOBs, man. And they're coming downhill and just rocking people off the ball. And I think they're playing really, really good football right now. They're just continuing to get better every single week. I think they played really well last week. I think they played I haven't watched the film yet, but I think they played really, really well this week. Love you. Who was that? Mac. Love you, Mac. But the overall, man, those guys are playing their butts off. And then, you know, I mean, you let Q and Trey do the rest. And, you know, we say we want to have our O-line get 2 and our backs get 2 every single play. And, you know, I think our O-line's getting us 4 and our backs can get us, you know, 60 plus. So, I mean, it's good. And I mean, our O-line's playing at a really, really high level right now. And, you know, across the board, I'm really proud of those guys.
Noah Weiskopf, the Lantern.
After that first half, what was the message to the team in the locker room?
I mean, I wouldn't say anything was really different, man. It was we just came out and we said, you know, it's a new half, and you know, we always put the emphasis on that middle 8, you know, and ending the first half the right way and starting the second half the right way. And we did not execute the middle half in the first half, but coming out of the halftime, going down, getting a score, you know, getting a couple turnovers, like that was huge. And that was, you know, our emphasis was like, we have to come out and start fast. We got to go down and get a score. You know, we deferred, so we get the ball first. And then we got to come out and get some stops. And I mean, the defense played an unbelievable game today. And when you got a defense that's going to shut them down like they did, I mean, it's hard not to win a lot of games.
Andy Backstrom, Lettermen Row.
Talked about earlier this year. There's Open, and then there's Ohio State Open. How much did that factor in the red zone with Emeka, and just where are you at with kind of adopting that?
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's one-on-one, you know, they're open. And I've said that. And, you know, I have all the trust in the world in those guys, and I've seen them do it in practice. You know, it makes my job easy when I can throw a ball to Emeka on that corner route, that last touchdown that we had. Wasn't a great throw, honestly. You know, we'd practice that play on the hash mark, you know, where I had a little more time to throw that. And, you know, we have it in the right middle, so it's a little more off the hash. I got to be a little quicker with it, and I left it a little inside, and Mac made a great play. And, you know, it's just like things like that, just giving guys chances. And I mean, JJ, like that one-handed catch is, I mean, it's stupid. Like it's, you know, you just let them go make plays, man. And it's fun to watch. It's easy. And, you know, it makes my job pretty nice.
Over to the right, James Watkins, Cleveland.com.
Well, you've played in big games before, which means you've played in games before, big games before, trap games, some people say. What do you think you learn about a team in these kind of moments, and what did you learn today?
Yeah, we said this coming into this game, you know, we were going to learn about this team. We're going to learn a lot about this team and our toughness, and our, you know, our ability to, you know, block out the noise and go down and get to work. And, you know, we knew we had a big one coming up this week, but we knew that this was a big one too. And I think our ability to just come out there and play some smash mouth football a little bit, you know, I think we started well. You know, the first quarter, we only had one drive, but it was 14 plays, and we went down and scored. And, you know, the second quarter, you know, just, you know, 2 turnovers, a turnover on downs. You know, we beat ourselves. You know, it's never, you know, the other team beating us, is us beating ourselves. But, you know, it's all about how you respond, and we came back and we did a great job. So, you know, I'm proud of the way that we played, but, you know, we got a big one coming up next week, so I'm excited.
If we can start to wrap up with Donovan Jackson in the back, please. And we got 2 more questions for Will Howard up front. Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
Yeah, everyone has been pointing to this Oregon game all season. Iowa's obviously a test. How well prepared are you guys? How do you feel going into that game with all the stakes?
I think confidence-wise, we feel great. You know, we've continued to iron things out and get better every single week, and I think that's true. I think we've learned a lot about ourselves and about this team. You know, I think going into this game, you know, we know that it's a big one, and you know, I haven't really looked at it yet. We knew that this Iowa team was going to be a good team, so I mean, we you know, I looked at it a little bit, and you know, on the bye week, and I started checking them out and seeing, you know, what they're about, and you know, I'm excited, man. It's gonna be a good challenge. You know, played against Dylan a couple times. He's a great player. You know, their defense is good. You know, I know Coach Lanning is a good coach, and he's gonna have them ready. So I'm excited to get home now and start watching some film and get ready for these guys.
And final questions for Will. Tim May, Lettermen Row.
Yeah, just real quick, Will. The way the first half ended for you and stuff, was there an inner monologue going, "Hey, I'm better than this"? I mean, you know what I mean? Or
Absolutely.
did you just get straightened out, I guess, at halftime? And then number 2, since I won't get another question, you and Dylan Gabriel, you know, two guys from the Big 12 now going against each other in a Big 10 showdown. Just what does that mean to you?
Yeah, man, it'll be fun. You know, going into halftime, I was pissed at myself, you know, because I feel like it's uncharacteristic, you know, putting the ball in harm's way like that. You know, I want to be safe with the ball and my decision making. I'd like to hang my hat on that, and you know, it's just like, but at the end of the day, man, like you just got to flush it and move on, and you can't dwell on it too long in the moment. You know, we'll go back right now, and I'll go watch the film and gonna, you know, be critical as possible and say, you know, can't do this, you know, got to be better. But in the moment, like it's very, very, very important to just move on and brush it off. And then, going into next week, you know, with Dylan, man, I actually, in 2022, we played at Oklahoma. That was Adrian was still playing. So I never actually have got to play against Dylan, but I know him. He's a good dude, man. And, you know, I got one of my boys from K-State's one of their safeties. So I'm excited to go out there. It's going to be a fun game, man. Great.
Will, thank you very much.
Thank you all. Go Bucks.
Okay. Number 5.